Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is Maverick here with Pet Episode 7. So, my quick apologies, I actually thought I was going to be able to get this episode out before I left on my vacation, but some things happened up, and long story short, I wasn't able to make it in time, so we're gonna be doing a continuous one for this week. I will be doing Episode 7 and 8 back to back, right? So, hopefully, it wasn't too big of a problem to you guys. Although, honestly, I feel like this is probably one of my least watched series of this season. It's not really that popular, and I can totally see why. Although, of course, to me, it has its redeeming qualities, right? I still think the premise is quite interesting, except the animation and stuff, the artwork is kind of iffy. But still, I am looking forward to watching the conclusion of all this. So anyways, last episode we had this big showdown between Tsukasa and Hayashi, right? It ended up in them, well, mostly Tsukasa, destroying both their peaks actually through the use of a clever back door, and that was supposed to be that. They were both supposed to be crushed, except that Tsukasa was eventually rescued by Hiroki. Now, my question is whether or not, because Tsukasa is linked with Hayashi, whether or not that actually constitutes also rescuing Hayashi as well, or are we gonna have to wait until Satoru does something about it, right? Because if Hiroki can do something with Tsukasa, maybe Satoru can also do something to his, I guess, master. Again, I'm not really sure what terminology they use on the other side, but or is Hayashi really gone for good, right? Somehow I doubt that. He seems to have to play a much bigger role than just going quietly just like that. So, anyways, without further ado, let us get into the episode and see what's gonna happen. Alright, I skipped the opening, and let's begin in 3, 2, 1, play. Revenge. Revenge. Who? Hayashi? Oh hey, it's the doll. Oh wait, not doll. Wait, they're called babies? Alright, acting the part of the spoiled brat again. Alright. I guess he's gonna be, brainwashed? Yeah, he's definitely... I don't think he's gonna just be crushed. Right, going for all this trouble, they're probably gonna brainwash him or something. Yeah, he wouldn't. If he wasn't brainwashed. Hmm. Even though they are making him out to be sort of like a push, and inept fool, seems that at least he's loyal to his friends. Hmm. She talks. I guess because this is the sort of supernatural world, subconscious world, something like that. Okay. I actually kind of find it funny how they're speaking in Japanese, even though they're both Chinese. So what's gonna happen to the bodyguard? Because it wouldn't make sense to depose of him, right? That'd cause a contradiction. So this is her brain, her subconscious. Well, he's gotta save himself first. I guess that's. I guess that's because Mailing doesn't have a peak. And this is the father and grandfather, right?
魚に食われることになるんだからな。
そうなればお前の仕事だぞ、ダーハオ。奴のおかげでお前は幼なじみを一人失っているんだからな。はい。私はちゃんとやりますよ。どうした？顔色が悪い。
It's gonna assassinate his grandfather.
乗船前にもう一度調べろよ。
いや、全員服を脱がせるんだ。どうやら客人は丸腰がお好きなようだからな。
お久しぶりですな、新庄司社長。
知り合いか？
いえ、今日が初めてのはずですが。昔、父の仕事の関係でお会いしたことがあるんですがね。いつの話だ？お前の父親の名前を言ってみろ。覚えていらっしゃらないのも無理はないでしょうね。顔も名前も今とは違いましたので。パイシーちゃんの息子ですよ。こいつは気候術師の息子です。
Oh, that was quick.
父さん、やったよ。何をしているだ。何って、父さんに言われた通りに。こいつらは裏切り者です、社長。よし、じゃあ他の裏切り者が来ないように見張ってるんだ。撃てだ。よしよし、いい子だ。よくやったな。眠ってろ。気候術師だな。そんな時代遅れな者たちはあの時全員始末しましたよ。知ってるでしょ？あんたがうちの気候術師に私の父親を殺させた時にですよ。あれから18
Well, this is what the revenge meant.
父親を殺される気分を知ってほしくて生きてきたんだよ。さあ、どんな気分か言ってみろ。ネイリ、蝶を出せ。残りの人生は私のために使ってもらうぞ。
Okay.
有个家国在，这个地方有他最开始的回忆，虽然我连他是谁都不记得了。
That's young Tsukasa, right?
只有在这里就很安心，你也在这待一会儿吧。哦，你喜欢水啊？很亲切吧？这河里的水是从那座山上流下来的，然后流到很远很远的、非常非常广阔的大海里。你也一样，要从这个地方走非常广阔的世界里去。你放进来看看。
So, if peaks are the happiest memories of someone, does that means Hayashi actually was here before or something like that?
早くここから出るんだ、司。
Ooh, his hair's all gray.
またうなされてたぞ。くそ。なんで餌食わねえんだよ、お前ら。喧嘩してる場合じゃねえだろ。おっと、司の餌。じゃなかった。飯の時間だ。3天后的我会让培养好好做的。我说的，他绝对听。
元はといえばてめえが仕事をサボったからだろ。
ひろき、何やってるんだ？何って飯。それより電話誰だよ？桂木さんだ。なんでいつも中国語なんだよ。気にするなよ。単なる癖なんだから。悪いな。大変だろ。そうだよ、大変だよ。魚にもお前にも餌やってさ。尻尾の長いやつなんか喧嘩ばっかして餌食わねえし。同じ種類でも一緒にしたら縄張り争いする魚もいるんだぞ。そうなのか？じゃああいつら出しとかないとまずいかな。
Hmm.
ごめん、食えそうにないや。
Is he referring to him and Long?
いや違うんだ。なんか 茶色い蜂蜜いっぱいかけて。
ひろき、大変そうだからさ、ホテルに移った方が良くないか。
また会社の世話になるっていうのか。そんな目に遭わされたのに。俺はごめんだぞ。もう二度とあんな司は見たくないからな。会社の仕事は二度としないし、お前にだって絶対させないからな。
いや、仕事はする。今の電話も次の仕事の件だったんだ。俺はやれそうにないから、どうしてもお前にやってほしいんだよ。
いい加減にしろよ、司。お前は俺に何の説明もなしに潰れちまうとこだったんだぞ。
そんなの説明したところで心配かけるだけじゃないか。
じゃあお前、分かっててやったのか。俺が助けてなきゃ潰れてたんだぞ。もしお前が潰れちゃってたら俺はどうなるんだよ。俺のことなんてどうだっていいのかよ。なんで俺に言わねえ。お前の山親の話も聞かされたことないし、俺は信用されてないのかよ。
信用なんてのは相手の気が変わればそれでおしまいなんだよ。
なんだって。
必要とされなきゃ生きていけないと思ってやってきたんだ。俺は会社の臓器売買用の子供だったからな。俺の山親が偶然見つけてくれなきゃ内臓を切り売りされていたんだよ。だけど会社は俺に能力があったから生かすことにしたんだ。俺はヒロキとは違うんだよ。お前は俺が探して見つけたんだ。ヒロキは最初から必要とされてたんだよ。だけど俺は違う。本当に必要なのかどうかいつだって試されてたんだ。だからできることは何だってやってきたんだ。
でも、もう会社なんてどうだっていいだろ。仕事なんかやめて二人でやってきゃいいんだよ。
ヒロキ、俺たちの会社にはな、円満退社なんてないんだよ。
どういうことだよ。
眠るかな少し。
Avoiding the question.
俺の水槽の場所知ってるよな。
I don't know, man. It seems to me that Tsukasa is... I'm really not sure if he's the one who...
大丈夫なのか、司。シンクロなんかして。
Okay, hold on.
なんでここに。
部屋は盗聴されてるかもしれないからな。
盗聴。
言ったら見張られてるって。もし俺たちが逃げ出そうものなら会社はとことん追いかけてくるはずだ。俺たちを見つけ出して殺すまでな。
じゃあ一生会社の言いなりだって言うのかよ。
そうじゃない。いいか、会社はもう俺たちがいないと困るんだよ。だからそれを利用してやるんだ。今度は俺たちが会社に言うことを聞かせる番なんだ。つまり俺たちに仕事をして欲しかったらと条件を突きつければいくらでも好きな暮らしが手に入るんだよ。
でも俺はもう仕事はしないって。
今はまだしなくちゃいけないんだ。だけどちゃんと方法があるんだよ。ただ山を分けるだけでもう嫌いな仕事はしなくてよくなる方法が。
山を分けるだけ。
ヒロキに見せたい。
Peaks?
それさえ見てもらえば俺が何を言ってたかすぐに分かるはずだ。
それっていつ見れるんだ。
今は会社が持ってるからな。でもいずれ絶対に見られるんだよ。仕事はもう少
Is
し。
he talking about babies?
この方法はお前と二人なら絶対にうまくいくんだ。信用してくれ。
But I thought babies only had valleys and not peaks.
俺のは当てになるんだよ。
うっせえよ。俺のだって当てになるんだぞ。
ああ、当てにしてるよ。
Well, I guess mailing was shared
なんで俺がお前を裏切るんだ。
maybe a half peak?
よくしてくれるんだな。
そういうことならさ、俺だってするよ、仕事くらい。
まずそろそろ俺は限界だ。レオ。
I don't know, man. I'm not sure if Tsukasa is really being genuine
じゃあ
with what he's saying to Hiroki.
ヒロキ、
Or is that just manipulation
あ、
in a sort of way?
お前のホットケーキ当てにしてるぞ。
あ、そう。そうか。わかった。茶色い蜂蜜な。
メイプルシロップって言うんだよ、ヒロキ。
わってるよ、それくらい。
たくつかさのやつ。 つをあっさり潰しやがった。忘れたわけじゃねえだろ。そういう奴らに俺たちが何をされたかをよ。
うん。
俺にはヒロキがいる。ヒロキさえいればきっと全部やり直せるんだ。やり直すだって一体何をだ。ベビーのことはヒロキにうまく説明。
Alright, so it is the babies.
会社はベビーを作れる人間がどうしても必要なんだ。そしてそれは
So he wants to create baby.
邪魔だな。
Satoru?
蜂蜜に何が入ってんだ？あ、ホットケーキだ。うまそう。
Speak of the devil.
猿みてえ。猿？
お前も染めるんだよ、ヒロキ。
何？
次の仕事はそのなりじゃまずいんだよ。黒く染めて前髪切るか、オールバックだからな。
冗談じゃねえよ。
そうだよ。冗談じゃねえんだよ。
司さんも染めたんですか？
ちょっとやりすぎだろ。染め直すんだ。
そうっすね。もう少し色あった方が。
ヒロキの髪染めさせろよ、司。
司の髪の方がよっぽどいいよな。あれ、どうしたのこれ？あ、やべえ。その魚別にしなきゃいけないんだった。一匹死んでるよ。
That's definitely a sort of reference to the current situation. Alright, so I'll see you guys in a second. Alrighty, so quite a lot of things happened in this episode, some of it more straightforward, and some of it less obvious, right? Now, I definitely feel like the part where they went up and basically killed the leaders of the Chinese gang, and then instilled their puppet, I felt like that was pretty straightforward. It's obviously a case where these Chinese gang members, they were behind the sort of rebellion of the Qigong masters, I guess you could say, which were sort of like the enemies of the founders of the company, right? So they got that going with them, and so now that the company has grown strong enough, they've decided to exact their revenge against this Chinese gang. Now, I don't really know why they waited this long. You would think that well, I guess they had to make a setup, right? They may have to make a setup where I presume that this Chinese gang also employs other Chico masters as well, who may be more well versed in defending against these kinds of supernatural or mental attacks. And so that is why they fabricate this entire situation, starting with brainwashing one of their subordinates, and then making the big guys come out in order to settle this dispute, and then gradually getting hold, and then also getting hold of the son, right, and using that to completely turn the situation around, catch them off guard, and eventually take them out. So I think that's what this entire scene was talking about. And just as a little side note, by the way, it doesn't really have much to do with the story, but I still kind of find it humorous that they are talking about the Qigong masters being able to use this kind of hypnosis and whatnot. I mean, Qigong is generally more associated with martial arts. Right? It's a way to enhance your martial arts attacks. There are very few situations, very few examples I can think of, because I read some wuxia as well. I am based in Asia and whatnot, and so I read a lot of the classic wuxia novels. There's very little, very few examples of using these sort of martial arts slash qigong to brainwash people. So I just find it very funny that they are making this out to be some sort of mind control or brainwashing technique here. But whatever, right? It's just a little piece of trivia that I wanted to throw out. So yeah, that's what that basically entails, right? And now they got full control of the Chinese gang as well, because they control the successor, the son, and who should now be the boss of that entire group. So we got that out of the way, right? So the company obviously has aspirations to be even bigger in their influence worldwide. So that's that part. Now, the main thing here, I feel like, is what Tsukasa actually wants, right? Like, where is he going with all this? Now, I can totally see the or not totally see, but I think what he's trying to say here is that with Hayashi out of the picture, only, I mean, I think he mentioned this before, right? So Tsukasa is now the one who can create babies for the company, and he intends to use that as leverage to force the company to accept his terms, do his bidding, give him a higher position, make him more well respected, right? And in a sense, you can also say that it's a sort of insurance for him as well, because I feel like if you are the one creating the babies, you could also maybe pre-program them or with something so that their true leader or the true orders they will follow is that of Tsukasa and not of the company, right? So you will always hold that kind of leverage over the company and eventually take it over. I feel like that in itself is quite reasonable as well. Now the thing here that I don't really know is, particularly with at the very end where he says he needs to kill Satoru. Now obviously we can see this sort of parallel reference here with the were they goldfish? I think they're goldfish, right? Fighting each other, and then with one being dead. There's a classical saying in Chinese where it's two tigers cannot coexist in a single mountain, right? Because they will fight each other, and so they each need their own mountain. It's sort of similar concept like this. Satoru, I guess, being also a pet of Hayashi, he can also make babies as well, so that is a threat to Tsukasa, right? So he wants Satoru out of the picture. With that being said, however, this also brings me into the question as to Tsukasa's character. So I think at this point, even though he is one of the main characters here, he seems to be more of the antagonist, right? So we already see him betray Hayashi. You know, he tried to crush him, and as far as we currently know, he is still crushed, right? And so using, sort of like manipulating Hiroki, using his conscience and whatnot, and make him feel bad for him in order to accept these jobs, and then also the fact that he wants to kill off Satoru so that he can be the only one having this ability to create babies. I don't know. I feel like all this points to Tsukasa just being a bad guy, right? It's not like he's misunderstood or particularly he's a sob story and we should feel sympathetic towards him or whatnot. Because if he truly only wanted to break free of the company's control and whatnot, he could totally ask Satoru to join him and co-work together, right? If that's really all he wants. But he wants sole control. He wants to be the only one who can create these babies. So I feel like at the end of the day, he is sort of manipulative and deceptive. And I don't know. I feel like at this point, I think he's not one of the good guys. So that might change in the future as well. But as you know, based just judging on what he's done so far and the things that he has said before, I kind of feel like he is approaching this not in a okay, I want to survive, I want to be equal, I want to gain my rights sort of way, but instead more of a I want to be the top dog, I want to be the company CEO, that kind of ambition, let's say. So yeah, I think that's basically it. So where can the story go from here? Honestly, I don't know. It seems that Jin and Long aren't really fond of Tsukasa as well, so they might actually try to enlist Satoru first, and that would actually maybe play into Tsukasa's hands for a big showdown between these two, right? And of course, we still have lots of other unresolved things as well, such as what is the status of Hayashi, and what about that USB or portable file or whatnot that he got before and placed a trigger on. So we still got that stuff upcoming, and I guess we can just look at it in the next episode, right? This is gonna be a back-to-back watching, so I guess I will see you guys in episode 8. So I'll see you guys in a while, and of course, if you're watching this a few, after the fact, then well, see you in the next one. Until then, bye bye.